Hello, welcome to ThePrint. I'm Amana Begam Ansari, and this week I have covered in my article the protest that happened in the London in front of the High Commission of Pakistan in response to the Pahalgam terror attack. So, the Indian diaspora in London called for a protest in front of the Pakistan High Commission after Pahalgam terror attack. I was there in solidarity too. Maybe it was anger or grief, trying to find a voice, a way to say that even living from home, far away from home, we still carry same hurt, still tied by something deeper than distance. Sitting with everything I was feeling, I decided to show up, not just scroll past, not out of politics or anger, but out of simple need to stand with Hindu and Christian victims of Islamic terrorism and their families who were carrying a quiet sorrow. When I reached outside the Pakistan High Commission, the reaction from the official was something I had not expected. It wasn't just cold, it felt like they were ready to mock the pain we had come to share. No remorse, no empathy, no trace of humanity I could understand was there. I could understand if ordinary citizen acted out like that, driven by anger, nationalism, or whatever else. But officials are usually trained to stay neutral and hold a certain dignity even when disagreeing. Instead, they set up loudspeaker to drown out the voices of protesters, as if the very idea of our grief needed to be silenced. What happened next really stood out. A staff member appeared on the veranda of High Commission and made a throat-slitting gesture toward the protester. It was direct, intentional, and impossible to misinterpret. No official statement was needed after that. Action always speaks louder than the words. There was no shame, no restraint, and no acknowledgement of the horror we were protesting against. Just more hate offered back to our pain, revealing the sheer depth of their hostility. At some point during the protest, for some odd reason, the Pakistan High Commission began to blare what sounded like Islamic religious music. This was a demonstration against a terror attack, which, as being widely alleged, Pakistan had a role to play in. What exactly then was being countered with the devotional music, only God knows. This unfolded against a and this everything was unfolding against a backdrop of the recent statement by Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir, where he emphasized that the difference between Hindu and Muslim while invoking the two nation theory. When a country's army chief makes such a comments, terrorists kill Hindus based on their identity, and then religious songs are blasted onto the crowd mourning the violence. It became easy to connect the dots. It could all be a big coincidence, but it sure didn't feel that way, not in that moment. Indian protesters also started hitting back by chanting religious slogan. I usually do not condone religious invocation during protests, but in this case it made sense that because they were Hindu, the victim, and they were targeted because of being Hindu. So people um, um, would like to express. I mean, people expressing their Hindu identity through religious slogan didn't feel out of place. It felt like resistance. What stood out to me more were all those who showed up for India, people from different religion and even nationalities, Sikh, Muslim, Jewish. I also heard that there were Iranian too. Looking at it felt like a giant contrast. So on one side, a blatant display of religious supremacy, on the other, people standing together, united not by the religion but by the grief. That to me said more than anything else than any other speech could have. Of course, the protest wasn't entirely dignified, as both sides taunted and mocked each other. An Indian protester allegedly smashed the window of Pakistan High Commissions. A few slogans, such as those directed at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, straight from the point. Sometime protesters forget why they were demonstrating in the first place. Anger took over, and people began to express outrage instead of holding space. and when that happens, something get lost, especially when the protest is meant to honor the dead. But overall, the Indian protesters were very silent and tried to keep on the track. But I was not expecting this kind of reaction from the Pakistan High Commission. For more video, please keep watching the print. Thank you.